Welcome, REDX Nation, family of prospectors, new agents, old agents, expert agents, seasoned agents, all agents across the board. I'm Justin Zimmerman, Director of Content here at the REDX, and hosting another episode of the Stability and Opportunity Podcast, a podcast we've put together to help understand what's going on from the best people in the industry, coaches, agents, speakers, people out there who are still hustling, still figuring out the nuances and adapting them, so then we can come on here and talk about what's working so you know what to do. Say, I've got a special guest as always. You might know him. He's internet famous. We joked around about that before the show. He's laughing in my ear. You can probably hear him say that. Mr. Greg McDaniels from Beers and Calls. And so we don't have any beers and we're not making any calls, but we're going to talk about the calls you've done in the last couple of days. And part of this show, Greg, as we talked about beforehand, is getting into the tactics and the scripts and the adaptations to listing presentations. And of course, this is a participatory event, not just for you and I, but this is for the audience as well. And so if you're watching this live, especially if you're watching this live, please ask questions. Actually go into the comments right now and share where you are in the world, how you're doing, how things are going, because one of the ways we're trying to open up these shows is with positivity. And I've asked Greg to think of a quote that helps him stay centered and focused during this time. And so why don't we welcome Greg to the show? Thank you, Greg, for coming on. And why don't you drop that quote for us right now and tell us why it's important to you?
Justin, you are the G of all G's. I appreciate you having me on, my friend. Always anything I can do for my family over at REDX. You guys are amazing. One of the things that I kind of go back and forth in my head, it's not my quote. I didn't make this up. Robbins has been saying this for a long time, and it's, life doesn't happen to you. Life happens for you. I just came hot off of my podcast, Real Estate Uncensored, and we interviewed a guy named Tim Rode. You guys don't know who that guy is. He was a legend in Modesto back when he was crushing in the 90s and early 2000s. This guy, he crushed. He did calls and everything else. And he and I rapped about the fact that this market has shifted so much and so many people are having a hard time pivoting when they need to pivot right now, because we're stuck in our old ways of I used to do open houses and that's the way I got my business. I used to door knock and that's how I got my business. When you just can't do that anymore. And so that's why this quote speaks to me so much, because we always we default into victimhood. When anything doesn't go our way, it's, oh, why me? When in reality, it could be okay, that sucks, but let's work the problem. Let's figure out what's going on. This happened for a reason. I may not see it right now, but let's readjust, and then, re-engage the target and go back after whatever we're going after in life. It could be deals. It could be a personal relationship. It could be whatever, fill in the blank there. But life doesn't happen to you. It happens for you. Everything has a reason. And here's what I've found, Justin, and I appreciate you asking. Yeah. I want to dive into this, is the fact that, I've always really wanted to get into heavy video. Even more than I already do. I'm already a glutton for a microphone and a camera. But I met up with a good friend of mine. His name is Jackson Wilkie. He runs a YouTube channel called YouTube Agent. And he and his business partner, Jesse, have a team up in Portland and the surrounding areas. And he's gone really heavy into video. And so I bought in with him and his agency up there. And I can't tell you how excited I am, because I can't wait to wake up every day, or most days, and go shoot videos and have a high level production and be able to create lead generation through doing calls through REDX out to people, then sending them videos that might pertain to what they need, so they get reinforced in who I am, but still chasing my dreams of video, calls, and then also real estate all around the Bay Area. So long answer to a simple question. But I think that when we get so much wrapped in our brains, if we keep staring at our spouse or a significant other or our kids or the dog or the goldfish or the lizard or whatever you got in your house, you might somewhat go insane. Yeah. But you could also say, what an opportunity this is to get some significant time with my spouse or significant other or my kids I need to re-engage with because they're becoming teenagers or, or they're infants and they're not going to see me, around because I'm going to be working all the time. What a blessing this time is. And you're going to look back in the future and be like, oh my gosh, this is something I should have taken advantage of. So stop complaining about what is not in your life right now and start just valuing the opportunities that are abounding on every level for you, because you know what? This might not ever happen again. And some of us are probably saying it's a good thing it doesn't happen again. We want to get out of the house. We want to go back to the bars and the restaurants and go to the dog park and everything else. But it's a heck of an opportunity to just start reconnecting with your past clients, reconnecting with your current clients, talking to your spouse, hanging out with your kids, petting your dog, taking your goldfish for a walk. I mean, anything, right? Whatever it is.
You know, you put a lot out there, and I'm going to help unpack all the things you said. You actually just gave the entire show in 1 minute and a half. And so we have an agenda, and you spoke to almost every single point on that agenda. And so I guess we could hang up now and everything go home. But no, let's keep going. So part of the agenda today is really that a lot of times we look within, and like you said, we play the victim and we feel like we're being persecuted, and that sometimes it's helpful to find the enemy, but not within, but out there, and look at truly what are the things that are putting the pressure upon us. And I would say the purpose of the rest of the show right now is for, again, the solo agents, who are the majority of real estate people who follow us, the people who are alone in their business, who need connection, who need guidance, who are looking for help and answers from people who are actually doing it. The people who have been essentially lazy or fearful in the past, this is their wake-up call to help get them into motivation. One big thing we're trying to offer now is every single day we do this, a sense of accountability that we're going to be here for you. So this is not just a podcast between you and I, Greg. This is a relationship with our audience right now. Like, I see Amanda Smith, who's shown up for almost every single episode, and I imagine there's going to be more and more Amandas who are going to come into this, like you have on your show, who want a place to connect, a place to get good ideas, and to know that they're not alone in their business. And so first and foremost, we're on other people's teams right now. And I want to make that clear to the audience. And the more people who chat in, the more we know where you're from, the more we can speak to you. And so please engage with us as we go. Don't make this a spectator sport. This is an involvement from you guys. So the more you ask, the more you engage, the more we can know how we can help you. And so if you can tell us where you're from as you continue to watch this, we'll be able to kind of speak to who you are and what's going on. And so one of the first things we get into on these shows is tactics, scripts. You are on the phones pretty much every single day for, 5-6 years, and you have your show, and people listen and model to what you say. Now, what has changed since we've entered into this new period? You're in California. There are certain things you can and can't do. Explain to us the restrictions, and explain to us how you've adapted to them.
I'm probably not the right person to ask the questions of what I've stopped doing. People have actually come at me and said, Greg, you're not supposed to be making phone calls. And I pretty much did my standard response to them, which is generally go take a hike. And here's my reason why. I don't believe making phone calls is a negative thing. I think predatory phone calls and looking for being a bottom feeder is a negative thing. But reaching out to people and people thanking me multiple times, like, oh my gosh, it's so great to talk to you. Thank you so much for calling. Thank you. Appreciate you asking the questions. So I'm calling them, and I do my scripts. I'm calling expireds, for owners, for sale by owners, the whole gamut, everything you guys have to offer. I'm calling through all those lists. And it's not like, hey, fool, you need to sell. I got a buyer. It's more like, hey man, how's life? How's this affecting you? What can I do to help you? Is there anyone I can connect you with? It's being a connector. It's being that person that's going to try to help another human being if I can in any way, shape, or form. And surprisingly, a lot of people I've been able to have conversations with them and just be like, anything I can do to help you? And people are like, well, not really. And then, or I've got a small business. I'm like, tell me about your business. Tell me about your customers.
You're so good at that. I've seen you do that. I've seen you turn like a limo driver who was a wrong number. I remember that, into like a business connection that you went and turned into some sort of transaction. And so I think if there's anybody who knows how to like shift their mindset from just being a dedicated salesperson to someone who's a dedicated service provider, I think it's you. And so let's dive into a little bit more of that, because the beers and calls that you've done on that are just phenomenal. And so give us a little bit more.
Okay. So, I mean, one of the things that I go out there with the mindset of is you have to bless and prosper before profit. Now, I didn't make that up. My father coined that. So if you guys missed that, it's bless and prosper before profit. So look for everything that you can do for another human being before you kind of ever expect anything in return. I have been the extremely grateful recipient of that exact process. I was working with a guy, and I just saw what he was doing, and it was my boy Jackson Wilkie from the YouTube Agent. I'm like, dude, what you're doing is like next level ninja. Like nobody's teaching how to do SEO, keywords, headlines, YouTube, how to create videos to get free leads coming in all the time. So I blew them up to everybody I could possibly get my hands on, to all these different entrepreneurs and influencers and everything else. And then all of a sudden he reached back to me and he's like, hey man, I want to connect you with my dev team, and we're going to start creating videos for you, and we're going to give you a homie discount and a reach back, like, hey, you've helped us, we're going to help you. And I didn't expect any of that when I did it. I was just trying to help him because I saw the value in this era. Phones have become cool again. And Bernice Ross and I, as you had on, she was on your show. She and I have a show that we're producing called Real Estate Coach Uncensored. We're doing a lot of content for Inman News, pretty much on a weekly, maybe even a couple of times a week now. And it's really interesting because what we're seeing is that if we give more out, more is coming back to us. So I think that a lot of times people, we if we are to change anything in our mindset, shifting the way that you go out and go after things, it's not like, oh my gosh, I need a deal. It's like, okay, everybody's up a creek right now. Everybody. I mean, it goes from doctors and lawyers and attorneys down to the ditch digger. Everybody's foobarred. So how can we help each other? How can we come together? How can I lend a helping hand and connect you with someone else? And that's what the difference is when I get on the calls. It's like, oh my gosh, so you do this service? Well, I know this guy or this gal. Here's their number. Tell them you talk to Greg McDaniel, or I can do a connection for you. What would you prefer? What's your best email? I'll do an email connection out right now for you. And you wouldn't believe the conversations I'm having. I mean, people are just floored that I would even ask. And if I couldn't do anything, guess what? They're thanking me for having an adult conversation with them, because having their kids around 24/7, they're going insane. And it's just powerful to just be a good human being to other folks. That's what it really comes down to. That's the script. It's just curiosity about the other person.
I love how you said the phone is cool again.
It is.
So let's hear what that conversation sounds like. How do you get to the point where you are able to hear and get them to say, this is what I need? I mean, I know it sounds super simple, but go through it. Tell us what that script sounds like. So that way they are like, this stranger's calling me and I'm supposed to tell him how to help. How do you make instant rapport and then get them to want to engage in that conversation with you?
Great. You want to role play it?
Sure. Okay.
Okay. So ring.
Hello.
Hey, just the owner of 123 Main Street?
Yes, it is.
Oh, fantastic, man. I was able to reach you the first time go around. Hey, my name is Greg McDaniel. I'm a real estate agent here in the area, and I'm making some calls from my office, and I record them here live for training, and I'm doing some calls, and I wanted to quickly check in. Looks like you folks had your property on the market, and okay, I'm doing expired, so just so you guys know the context of the calls.
Yep.
Looks like you had home on the market. Looks like late last year, and it came off. Would you guys still be interested in maybe selling your property if I can give you a full market value?
Nope, not at this time.
Okay. May I inquire just what changed?
Well, right now we're just not really comfortable having people come into our house, and we're not really sure if we can even move until things clear up.
Well, you're not alone. I've actually talked to a lot of folks that feel the exact same way. Back in the early 90s, it was very, very common practice for people to write offers subject to physical inspection. So people can make offers. They don't have to actually have to come into your property. And that's why I was asking, would you be interested if I could show you how to, you could do a video of your home, you having anyone in your property. I can take that link. I can then market that link out to potential buyers, and then people can potentially write an offer subject to physical inspection of the property and walking through it. I mean, is that something you'd be interested in learning a little bit more about?
We're just really hesitant about it at all. We're really just looking to hunker down and look at what comes up in the next couple of weeks or months.
So again, this is just my curiosity is killing the cat. You guys were looking to sell the home. Is that correct? Back in late last year, and then
yes,
and then you pulled it off prior to Corona. What was that reason prior to Corona that you pulled off the market?
Well, it was, not just receiving the attention that we thought it would. And then when the offers did come in, they just weren't where we wanted them to be.
Gotcha. So what I'm hearing, and I could be hearing it wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, you're saying that you just want more attention on your property because you feel that the market was not giving you the justification on the pricing that you felt your home is worth. And again, don't forgive me, I haven't seen your home inside yet. I can't speak to that yet. But I mean, is that really what you're saying? Like you just feel like you weren't getting the justification for the price?
Well, I mean, that was then, this is now. And so our whole mindset around it doesn't really matter given with the circumstances. I'm sure if we would have received an offer then and under those conditions, I'm sure we would have made steps forward, but just the current situation, really, we're not interested.
No, I hear what you're saying. I have a client of mine that actually right now, she actually sold her home right at the apex of the market, got a bucket of cash for her house, but now she's homeless. She's living in Airbnbs. I mean, that obviously you being where you are is probably better. But again, I'm just trying to find out the reasoning why you pulled it off the market and your mindset for back on. Because if I can get you, full market value and keep you in the property until the quarantine ends or whenever that might be, would you be opposed to being able to get full market value for your home, given there's really no competition out there and people are still needing to buy?
Well, full market value right now is different than full market value then. And, I'd have to see it. I have to look at the numbers. I mean, it seems like if the numbers aren't where we want them to be, then we're going to stay where we're at.
I'm not trying to push you out. I can only lead you out if the numbers are right. What's the bottom number that you're looking to get for your home? Like, what would be that drop dead number? You'd be like, okay, I cannot get anything less than blah. What's that number look like for you?
About 2.7 million.
Okay. Well, I like your aggression. You are a 1-bedroom, 1-bath condo. So, I mean, I can work on those. I'll have to look at some comps, but why don't I do this, Justin? I am talking to Justin, right?
That's me.
Yep. Okay, perfect, man. Hey, let's do this. I know that times are very weird right now, and I'm definitely not going to try to, talk you into selling because you couldn't talk me into selling either. What I'm trying to do is understand where your mindset is and kind of what your motivation might be, so that I can keep you in the back of my mind, because I do a ton of calls, man. I'm incredibly aggressive when I do calls. I bet you haven't been getting a lot of calls from other agents, and if you have, they probably just trying to get you to list their house. Have you noticed I haven't once talked about listing? I've only talked about kind of what your mindset is, and and that's why I keep asking. If I was to find someone that said, "Oh my God, I need to live in the area that you have your home in," I can say, "I may have someone for you." I mean, would that be something acceptable? If I could bring you someone that would say, "Hey, I'll pay full market value," that it's a number that you would be acceptable to, would you be willing to have a conversation?
Sure. Under perfect circumstances, you could call me then and we could talk about it over the phone or Zoom or something. But, it has to be pretty specific and almost nearly perfect to some of the things we talked about.
You're just a dick of a caller. You know what? Stop. But obviously people are going to give you pushback, and really what I'm doing, and there's really sometimes no way of winning these conversations. One of the best things you can do is get their email, put them on a drip. They continuously get their information. You continually follow up with them with market updates, so they can get the market update on their value. And you can learn that Justin, he didn't really need to move. He was throwing his house out there as bait. If he could get his $2.7 million for his 1-bedroom, 1-bath condo at 900 square feet in San Francisco, then he would sell. But if he wasn't going to get his number, he's not going to sell. And these are the type of people that when you encounter them, be very kind, be very sympathetic, and just be a good person to them. But don't waste a lot of time on them, because Justin's going to waste your time. He's not there's no need.
That kind of hurts when you say that.
Well, it's true, bro. It's true. I mean, I love you to pieces, but you're not the person that the REDX agents need to spend their time with, because you're not going to do something. You have no want, need, or desire, or pain. You have no pain behind you. If there's no pain in some way, shape, or form, like your wife just found out you're having twins, you lost a job, whatever, you need to move to your mother because she's sick and getting older, whatever that pain or whatever that push is, it wasn't there for you. You were just trying to cash out and get a golden parachute. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just there's just nothing there for you right now. There's lots of other people that do need a little bit of a push. That's all I'm saying.
Gotcha. So tell us about what you follow up with. What tools, what services, what information do you send when someone comes to the end of the call and they're agreeable to sharing their information with you?
Honestly, most of the time, what I do is I put a PDF out to my from our team with kind of introducing our team, thanking them for their time, so on and so forth. And then just tell them I'm going to follow up. I also put them into my drip email campaign that I use with viral marketing. So every 2 weeks, they're going to get a little email from me about something interesting in the area or some real estate related content, and also a link to my YouTube channel where they can dive deep on some other content. So, I'm going heavy when it comes to video. I think that it's one of the most, it was one of the most underused verticals in our industry. Now, of course, it's like everybody's going bananas for it, and Zoom is like making billions and trillions of dollars. But it's also the way that I think people will work in the future. I mean, there'll still be offices, but I think that people are going to get very comfortable with the fact of having this kind of a conversation where I can be barefoot and in my gym shorts, sitting in the office. I don't have to dress up, and I can still have the same amount of professionalism, from the waist up with a suit and tie on, which it's actually really funny because I shot a video this week, a commercial actually. From the waist down, I was shorts and flip flops in the sound stage, and then from the waist up, it was suit and tie and the whole 9 yards. And it looked great on camera. The final production looked phenomenal. But I'm like, oh, that's so funny. You can't tell that I'm wearing shorts. That's awesome. But yeah, it's just consistent follow up through video, consistent contact, follow up through phone calls, put them into a spreadsheet, load them into REDX, call them every month, call them every other month, whatever the time frame is going to be. But it's just being there as a resource for them and someone they can lean on when they have questions. Hey, how's the market? Which way is it going? How are the rates? We saw this house. Can you tell me about it? It's all of those different little nuances that you can be more effective on when it comes to being in their face consistently, but not annoying. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, let's get some details in there. You mentioned viral marketing. I'm not trying to plug products. I'm just trying to highlight things that people like you are using, paying for. I know a lot of agents right now are looking at their budgets, looking at their credit card statements. It's pretty much been an issue on every show. And so I'm trying to help those who have limited budgets, who doesn't, and limited time, what things that they are saying essentially are essential to keep the opportunity flowing.
Guys, viral is it's $2,000 to start and about $550 a month, so it is on the pricier side, but they do build you a full vlog and blog. I have a coach that coaches me every other week. We shoot videos, they create a header, they create a YouTube channel, they all the ins and outs, all the edits, all that stuff for you. So for me, I've been using them for about 5 years, and it's really been awesome to keep me in front of my database and be relevant in front of my database. If those numbers that I just spit out were just, oh my God, there's not a chance in HE double hockey stick that I'm going to be able to spend that money right now. I would probably say, go over to YouTube, look for my boy Jackson Wilkie, type in that Greg sent you there, and just kind of follow the YouTube agent. That's all free, and he has 50 active buyers right now, pre-qualified, by the way, ready to roll, just from creating YouTube content about his local area. I mean, that's where I'm spending that's where I'm going to spend a ton of my time in the future. So there's going to be two things. I'm going to be doing dials with REDX, still truly believe in doing calls, but I also fully believe in YouTube because it's our own personal TV channel, right? We can put whatever we want on there, and you can use that as as leverage for when you're doing their calls. I can say, hey, Justin, I understand you're not going to be making a move. Here, what's your best email? I'm going to shoot you over a link to my YouTube channel. I got a ton of great content about local businesses and specials and real estate content. Go ahead and binge hard on it. And, if you got any questions, let's chat later, because that's going to celebritize you a little bit because, whenever you're on camera and you have a lot of content, people will tend to listen to what you say. It's the same thing of like, why do you listen to the newscasters? Do you know a newscaster that's on all the time? Most likely not. So why do we trust them? We don't know what's on the teleprompter. We don't know if it's really what's going on, but they have a level of celebrity. See, just like movie stars, they have a level of celebrity. So there's no reason why you can't create a level of celebrity for yourself. One, you're proactive when you're doing your calls with REDX. Two, you push them over to your YouTube channel and you're talking about things that are relevant to their lives. You bring value to them. Remember what I said earlier? Bless and prosper before getting your own business. Okay? And it all goes into that. It's just a full cycle. Constantly putting out content, bringing value to the viewers. It's not about you. Okay? It really is not the me game anymore. Me, I, number one, best this, best that, look at my award. Nah. Nobody cares a rat's end about that. They care if you've brought value to them. The Gen Zers, like all y'all's kids and stuff, dude, if you talk to your kids today who are high school, like 15, 14, 16, 18, somewhere in that ballpark, and you say, you know, would you rather have a professional or would you rather have a cause or a cause you can get behind, right? Or an experience they could get, they could have. They're going to get behind a cause and an experience. And a lot of us don't understand that. That's why I say, go out there and do things about the community. Yes, we're in Corona lockdown as of the recording of this video. That does not mean you cannot go out and talk about the local animal shelters, you know, what's going on in the local, you know, business, or some history about the area or whatever else. Do Zoom meetings with local businesses, trying to drive, you know, profits to them who are dying on the vine right now. There's a lot of different ways to get behind this and bring value to yourself and celebritize yourself. My good buddy Glenn Twiddle, you guys should have him on. He's absolutely awesome. But he's in Australia, and he's like the Tom Ferry of Australia. He's a huge mega coach. And when Australia was burning to the ground last year, remember that? Like yeah. Everyone's like, oh my God, like Australia is going to be like just one big dust cloud. Well, he had one of his clients who is a real estate agent, and not for the fame or glory or anything else. What they did when they were mandatory evacuating his town, he and his family and some of his, you know, coworkers and team members stayed behind. And again, they weren't doing this for fame or glory. They just said, you know what, we love our community, we want to help our community, and they started cooking, man. I mean, when I say cooking, I'm talking like epically large vats of food, you know, purifying the water, giving the water to the animals, to the firefighters, feeding the frontline men and women. And that visibility from that selflessness was, you know, shot him through the roof in just word of mouth in the neighborhood. And his business has taken off because it wasn't trying to get famous. He's just trying to help and give back. That's what I'm talking about. With these videos, you're trying to help and give back to the folks in the area, to highlight other individuals, to help them grow their business. Because once you start this whole hamster wheel, dude, I mean, it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. And reciprocity comes back to you like a 2-ton truck. It's going to hit you square between the eyes.
You brought up, I think, one concept that has been a staple of every one of these shows, and that is the concept of a routine or consistency. And consistent actions create consistent results. And I think a lot of agents don't ever see fruits of their labor because they spread their labor thin across too many different places and spaces. And so I'd love to hear from your point of view, to break it down, if you've got to set up, if you could create the perfect schedule, which, I mean, we kind of would love to have the perfect schedule, and I know it changes, but in your perfect world, for a prospector listening to this, how would you set up their day, coach them to do what in what order? So like prospecting at this time, videos at this time, follow up at this time, or even on this day, just to give people ideas as they try to take in all these ideas, they can start to say, because here's what my calendar looks like, and then they can visualize that going forward and take action.
Sure. Okay. Let's wipe your calendar completely clear. I would probably get you guys up around 6 a.m., get you in the gym. Well, not the gym now. Get you doing some sort of exercise, go for a run, work out at home, do something to get the blood going for 30 to 45 minutes, get you into the shower, clean up, get you into the, you know, in front of the computer. And then probably I would start having you shoot video for probably 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours, you know, every day optimally, if you want to do the video route, or pick up the phone and dial past clients, current clients, database, just reach out and connect and say, hi, how are you? How's life? You know, has the Corona zombie got you yet? Oh, it hasn't. Okay, good. You know, how's life? You know, take a break midday, maybe go spend some time with a spouse or significant other, the dog, whatever. Just recalibrate. Right now, we all pride ourselves so much on, drive, work. I hustle till I grind. I'll sleep more when I'm dead. All the other BS that we always say, right? Well, right now, that wears your body, wears your immune systems down. And if you're trying to stay healthy, take a little time for yourself. The Mexican culture is awesome to the fact that, they take a siestas, they take a nap, they take a rest, they chill out. It's proven the fact that people who have more rest throughout the day are more productive instead of wearing yourself absolutely thin. So take a little bit of time, relax a little bit. I mean, lately, dude, I've been working out in the middle of the day. It's friggin' awesome. I mean, it is friggin' awesome. And then in the afternoon, I would spin up your dialer and I would jump in. This is my time, and this is what I found from my area, from about 4 to 4:30 to about 6 or 6:30. That 2 hour span there is really where it's the best for retention. Now, with the whole Corona thing and everyone's home, it's kind of like you can call whenever because everyone's already home, right? But let's talk outside of quarantine times. Let's talk normalcy, and I'd say from 4 to 4. I call from 4 to 4:30 to 6. That's my time frame. So, I mean, for you guys, kind of lock and load and figure out what you want to do. If you don't want to do video, okay, scrap my idea. But at least do a live video, do a live, Facebook message or Instagram, a story or something like that to let people know that you're live. Pick some content that's relevant to your life. Don't talk about real estate. Just talk about life. Talk about what's going on around your area. Talk about your kids. I did a video, a Facebook, Instagram story the other day of me and my girlfriend in my house. She's very creative when it comes to games, and she just built out an entire miniature putt course in my house with all the things laying around, and then we putted, and she became 3-time world champion. I became 2-time world champion. She beat me on the grounding on the 18th green, and beat me. Quite disappointed in my performance. Unfortunately, I did not get the green jacket this year. But I mean, then we went out and walked around and putted around my complex and went out to the walking path and did out there. And, it was just fun to relax. And I think that people need to see that a little bit more. And I don't think we need to push ourselves to the point of breaking like we have in the past. And some of you that are listening, you're going to think I'm completely full of what, and that's totally cool. I've done this for 20 years. I've pushed myself to the point of breaking several times. I've burned out twice or 3 times in this industry, and I had to go do something else for a short stint because I didn't listen to this advice, because I didn't pump the brakes a little bit. I mean, anyone who's frazzled and burned out is not that much fun to be around versus someone who's vibrant and full of life. So in your schedules, be greedy. I mean, for yourself a little bit, and take a little time for you and the family, the spouse, significant other, the kids, the dog, the goldfish, whatever, and just have fun. Because that fun is then going to feed back into your business life, and people are going to see that energy. And once they see that energy, they're attracted to it. No one stressed out is fun to look at. People who is relaxed and calm and collected and smiling and healthy, those are fun people to look at. You're like, I want whatever that person's got going on, right? But we've just been saying it wrong the other way for so long, though. That's the only issue.
So part of this show is about tactics, but I think the other part of it is about positivity and mental health, if you want to say that. And so what's something fun that we can do right now? Let's bring some fun to the show. Let's give some people some ideas. Maybe you and I could do some jumping jacks, or I'm just coming up with stuff. What comes to mind right now? Some spontaneity, change it up a little bit. Dude,
go outside and spend the rest of the day out in your backyard or on your patio. Do your calls out in some out in the fresh air on Wi-Fi. Put the headphones on and go outside. Change up your scenario a little bit. Just, I mean, it's small things like that. Do a competition, like you're saying. Every time you get a person who tells you to go blank off, well, do 25 push-ups. Next person that hangs up on you, do 50 jumping jacks. It's just that it's breaking the routine. No.
Show me 25 jumping jacks right now. Can you do 25 jumping jacks?
Yeah, but I'm on the 4th floor of my condo building, and the poor people below me are like thud, 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 thud. So I try not to do too much calisthenics up there. But I mean, what I'm just saying, like, for me, what has been working is the change in routine, and it feels like I'm cheating on my business day, but in reality, I become much more productive with my business because my meetings are more strategic and needed versus just filling a time in a calendar.
Awesome.
So that'd be my advice on that one. I know people are saying, well, you can't go outside, Greg. No, what they say is don't congregate in groups. So if you're outside walking around or on your patio or on your deck or in your backyard, I think you're just fine. So that's what I would say. That's what brings joy to my life, is getting outside.
That feels good. And I just want to say hi to Gus. He's made some comments in here to us. Hi, Gus. Thanks for the questions. I haven't ignored them. Hi, Gus. He has some questions for you. He wants to know about, he prospects daily and he tracks his calls and dollar calls in January. And I guess there's no question here. It's just some comments. Okay. Thanks, Gus, so much for the statements. All right.
I guess there's one thing that maybe I could cover if it's a question or not. It's maybe, and this is something that I had that I was able to answer the question on for myself, is like if you're going to build a YouTube channel or something like that, how do you build subscribers, right? How do you get that? And I think, my boy Tim asked that question over on the Facebook page, and it's consistency, and it's asking people to do something. So, if consistently put out 1 to 2 to 10 videos a week, obviously find a rhythm that works for you that you can sustainably do, people will start coming to you. And if you say, hey guys, if you guys like and subscribe to this channel, make sure you guys hit the little bell so you get notified every time that I go live or I post a new video. Here's what we're going to cover today, blah blah blah. But just consistently ask people to like and follow and subscribe and hit the little bell. That's how you do it. There's no magic wand to this. It's just consistency, pure and simple consistency. That's how Matt and I built our podcast. We have not spent a single dime on marketing for that podcast, and we're one of the top podcasts on iTunes for real estate. And you know what we do? Straight up consistency, day in, day out, for years. 3 1-hour episodes a week of content that people could dive in and just binge on. And that's the same thing people are going to want to do with these other episodes you can put out.
Let's talk about the format of the shows that you do. How do you lay that out? How did you choose that?
Which shows?
The podcast.
We fell into it when we first started doing our podcast. Matt and I had absolutely no idea how to run the podcast, how to do the format, how to do anything. And most people won't have idea how to do it, and we just tried different rotations and iterations of what this should look like, and then all of a sudden, bam, one day we're like, oh my god, that felt awesome. And so then that is our podcast rhythm now. It's because we found what worked best for us and what the audience liked, and then we've just been doing that for the last 4.5 years. It took us about 6 months to find that rhythm. And we weren't aggressively trying either. We're just kind of throwing things at the wall. But I mean, one of the things that we decided that for podcasting, and this is our own personal beliefs on this, is that a lot of people hate podcasts that have a ton of business up front, all the ads, all the, commentary about themselves and everything. It takes like 8 or 10 minutes to get into the meat. Matt and I just wanted to shoot ourselves every time we talked about podcasts. And so we decided, you know what? We're going to go directly into the content. We'll do the intro. He'll bring us in. He'll introduce me. I banter with him. We introduce our guest. Bam, into show. And then we come out of the show. We all do calls to action where everyone can get a hold of everybody. Matt asked me what bow we're going to put on it. So we're going to put a bow on the show, pick up some random color. I make fun of his non-existent kids, and I make fun of him in some way, shape, or form. I thank the audience, and then I yell into the microphone, "Peace out, ninjas! We gone." Then we kill the show, and so that's the format of it. And it's just something that we found over time. So it doesn't need to be a format. If you guys are going to be doing podcasts, you're going to be doing YouTube, video. If you're going to be just doing video, you're going to be doing, Instagram stories, Facebook stories, whatever. Just start. For the love of all that's holy, just start. I mean, look, you're going to screw up. You're going to screw up real bad. It's going to be ugly, but it's okay, because you know what? Everybody does. It's totally fine. I mean, if you really want to laugh, go to McDaniel Real Estate Systems on YouTube, click on the videos, go all the way to the bottom. You'll see me with some foobarred hair. We're wearing a headset with a microphone on my face, and That's one of our first episodes, man, and it was a dumpster fire. But it gets a ton of views, but we just never stopped. And that's what I'm saying. Just never, ever stop. Just keep going. Besides, your competition isn't doing this anyway, so what are they going to make fun of? Themselves not doing it? Might as well be out there doing something.
So once again, our theme of consistency and routine has popped up, and I've heard from a lot of other guests that sphere of influence right now is just kind of like the hit, the jam, the brand building, the connecting. And so in your own words, do you believe now is just maximum opportunity for sphere of influence?
Well, a sphere of influence and just, being seen. I mean, I think that most agents are talking about doing video. I'm not seeing a lot of people doing it, but maybe I'm just not looking either. And I think that might be the trick. Getting out there and just being seen by your sphere, doing a virtual pop by, shooting them a quick call. I got a call from my buddy, Will Grimes, agent out of the Denver area with his business partner, Eli. Top 0.5% for Berkshire Hathaway nationwide. I mean, that guys are just killers. And Will just picked up the phone and goes, "Hey, bro, it's Will." I'm like, "What's up, man?" He's like, "Hey, man, I'm just checking in, man. How's life? How you doing? How you holding up?" And I'm like, "This guy doesn't need to call me. What the heck?" But it was very kind and heartwarming that he took the time to say hello. Nothing more, just say hello. How are you? Can I help? I think that would be the best use of your time, not only now, but all the time. I mean, the stuff we learned through this pandemic in regards to person-to-person humanity and relationship building and relationship growth, we should be something that we take on for all of our businesses now and in the future. Just be a human being. I mean, it's really what it is. And care about the other person. Don't care about your pocketbook. Look, man, you'll make plenty of money. But if you care about the other person, that's going to go way farther because, it's a human-to-human connection. And that is worth more than gold.
Thanks, man. I try to talk to the other audiences here at REDX. We have, obviously, our customers, and we have our audience who follows us on social media. And I also try to be of service to our support and our sales team, because they're the ones who are receiving tons of calls every day from agents who are wondering, well, what do I do? What do I say? Can you help me? Why now is still a good time to be in the business? And if you could also, in your own words, maybe speak to those agents, but also speak to our internal sales and support team to give them some confidence, because they're always on the front lines of the negativity. And I feel like our job right now is to be proactive and help put that positivity out there. And so give our internal teams maybe a boost or set of confidence as to why now is still a great time to do what we're doing.
It's extremely simple. I mean, look, by the way, your internal sales, every time I've called in, your staff has always been awesome. They've been super on point. Just no matter what kind of dumb question I ask them, they're like, "Oh, that's a good question, sir." And I'm like, "Thank you for not making me feel stupid. I really appreciate that." I would say, look, guys, if people are losing their marbles right now because of what's going on in the world, this is the perfect opportunity for them to reach out and have a connection with another human being. Again, it's not about you. This is the beautiful time for this industry. Now, a lot of people are out. They are, because they just can't do it. They overextended themselves or whatever else. But the people that are going to stay in, the people that are going to be your clients, the people that are going to call into your internal sales team, I would challenge your internal sales team to go to these positive news sites. Like what is it? Hold on a second. I'll rattle off a few of them here really quickly. Like Good News Network, or what's this other one? Tank's Good News, or Inspire More. I would go to one of those, have your internal sales team be able to pull in an inspirational good news article. And you know what, sir or ma'am, here's something that made me feel good today. Let me send this over to you. This should brighten up your day and keep you, put a smile on your face, and share it if it makes you happy. Because I haven't seen any negative blowback on doing calls. I mean, I don't know what you guys are hearing, but when I'm talking to the people that I'm dialing through my REDX system, I'm not getting mad people. I'm getting people that say, "Dude, I really want to friggin' sell. I just can't let anyone in my house. And I'm like, and I've set more appointments that, of course, they canceled because they didn't want me to come into their house. But they're still going to be set for follow-ups once we are out of this whole, containment time frame. And they're so excited. They're like, hey, man, I would totally sell. I'm down. It is on the books. Let's do this. Just don't let the negativity of mainstream news get you guys. Turn that stuff off. It is built for negativity. It is built to sell, headlines. Go read some positive stuff and just be a light and bright human being. And I mean, I would love. What are your internal sales agents? What are they getting? What kind of feedback are they getting?
Well, some people are just saying, I need to cancel. Also, just kind of the common stuff too. It's just exacerbated, which is, and I know you're a master at handling this, which is people's expectations on data and data quality and connect rates. And for the people who are calling, who don't have the experience that you have, I don't know if they have the understanding to know, well, what is good data? What expectations should they have about calling?
Look, man, there's in any data set, there's going to be what they call dirt in the data. There's going to be stuff that's wrong because guess what? A human put it into a spreadsheet before it got to you guys somewhere along that daisy chain. And the thing is that I never ask for people by name. I say, hey, I'm looking for the owner of 123 Main Street. Did I dial the right number? And they say, well, yeah. I'm like, perfect. And then after we have a conversation, I say, you know what? I've been so rude. I have not asked your first name. What was your first name? Then I can compare it and then I move on. If it's not the same, whatever, it doesn't matter. I still found the owner of 123 Main Street and I'm able to keep going. People put so much emphasis on everything being perfect before they make a phone call. Just get out the friggin' door and make the dang call, man. Go out there and make a friend. When my father started real estate in 48 years ago, and yes, it's almost 50 years ago that he started in real estate. Guys, there was no REDX, there's no triple line dialer, there's no social media, there was definitely no cell phones, no texting, nothing. He went door knocking in the snow in Boulder, Colorado. Now it's his prospecting. You think you have it hard? You think your data set isn't perfect? You think life is coming to a screeching halt? All right, killer, let's go door knocking in the snow, see how you feel about these dialing now. And you know what? My dad just went out there every day. I'm out here to make friends. Everybody likes me, they just don't know me yet. That was his mindset, and he did it every single day. So I would say to your, I would say to your internal sales agents, when people say, well, your data is not good enough, use the story. Well, there's a guy, his name was Terry McDaniel. He's a top producer, broker in 3 states. He started 40 years ago, and he door knocked in the snow. Would you rather do dials to build your business or door knock in the snow? And I'll tell you one thing. If some sicko says they want to door knock in the snow, go with God, my child, because that sounds horrible. I've door knocked in the rain. I can imagine what snow's like. No, thank you. You're a crazy guy. You are running in the snow.
That's true.
Shirtless. That's the crazy part.
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to bring it up, but thanks for letting everybody know. But there's actually a method to that madness, and I realized that the consistency game is played no matter what sport you're in. And so prospecting's a sport, real estate's a sport, running's a sport, basketball, whatever it is. If you want to get good at something, consistency is the mother of skill, as I say, and borrow from Tony Robbins. And that I'll just kind of wrap by, I don't want the spotlight too much on me for this right now, but I can share my experience doing that is when you run to adversity and you build your own tolerance to it, like running shirtless in the snow. I knew that when things got tough, I would have built some sort of wherewithal. So when it actually became really difficult, I would have a skill set that I could rely on. And I feel like actually right now, in these moments, it's because of all of that these conditions aren't having the level of impact, at least yet, on me and my families, because day in, day out for hundreds and hundreds of days, I've shown up for myself in a way that's built Dave Goggins talks about callousing your mind. If you want to go follow Dave Goggins, that guy's an animal. And I'm not claiming to be anything like him in that way at all, but definitely falls into some level of thought like that. Also, we got some questions coming in as we come to a little bit of a wrap on our show today. I just want to say hi to Sunny Isles Beach Condos in Miami, Florida. Welcome to the show. And Garrison Borge and Phil Rincon, and just want to make sure that we get, let's see here, Jason Wilkie. He wants to know a link that he's looking for right now. How can he find him? Is there a URL or something that the team behind the scenes can pop into the chat right now that they can share with the whole audience?
Are you talking about Jackson Wilkie?
Sorry, Jackson Wilkie. Yep.
Yeah. Just go to YouTube and type in YouTube agent, and it'll pop right up.
Just YouTube agent in the search of.
YouTube agent is one of their channels over there, and you can go kind of watch and see what they're doing over there. Here, so we're talking about bless and prospering before profit, right? We're talking about giving before receiving. That's kind of one of our themes, right?
Yep.
So follow me down this rabbit hole and listen to these numbers. If, let's say, for instance, for 365 days, you were to, let's say, we're in a time when we got to work our butts off. So let's say we make calls and we were able to positively impact 4 people per day. Just get a new email, give them a word of confidence, appreciate their time, maybe help them grow their business, whatever it is. 4 positive impacts in 1 year, right? So that's 4 times 365 is 5,840. Now, those 5,840, I'm sorry. Is it? No, that's 1,460. My math is off, obviously. So you have the 1,460 from 1 year of helping people. Now, those 1,460 each help people. That's 5,840 people. Now, those 5,840 people go help 4 people. That's 23,360 people. That 2360 all go help 4 people. That's 93,440 people. Now, this is where the numbers really get freaking nutsos. And this is all from just doing something positive and then doing something positive to 4 people, right? Then it goes from 93,000 to 373,000. Those 373 turn into 1.5 million people that have been positively impacted based upon you taking action today on a daily basis, and the law of reciprocity just paying it forward. I mean, those numbers are staggering. If all of us doing that, it's like every person in the world getting around a pond and throwing a pebble in, and then watching the ripples all intersect with each other. And that's what we're doing when we're out building the business, making the calls, doing the videos, and everything else. It's pretty humbling when you see these numbers.
There was the Admiral William Mick Raven, who gave the commencement speech at University of Texas, Austin, that's gone viral in the last couple of years. I think it was 2014. If you want to go watch the speech, he speaks to exactly that level of impact. And he's also the guy who talks about making your bed. I think that's what's made him famous.
I thought that was the guy, yeah.
Yeah, so I know Haley, she posted a little bit of a snippet the other day inside our internal channel. And so, Haley, if you can go find that link and put it in the chat for everybody to watch, that'd be kind of a cool thing to, like you said, find some positivity, find some news that you can surround yourself that brings you to a higher level. I think that video is something that I actually have saved for years and watch every once in a while as part of my morning routine. I think we're coming to the close to the end of our show and our time together. One thing I like to ask our guests is if there's any final thought, something that you want to get off your chest that's been rattling around maybe since the beginning of the show that you don't later go say, dang it, I wish I would have said that. Let's drop that right now.
So you want me to go ask my future self what I should have said in the show and then ask that now?
Yeah, what regrets will you have in about 30 minutes?
I think the one thing that I would strongly impose upon everyone is, look, we are uncharted territories right now. None of us have ever been locked into our stinking houses for this long, and God knows how long it's going to go on. Take this time to, work on your business, and most importantly, work on your relationships that are most important to you. Interpersonal, personal, business, the whole 9 yards. Build personal relationships in a mega way, because when this thing comes to an end, people buying and selling real estate is just never going to stop. It's never stopped, guys. And I think the pent up demand is going to be like a rubber band being pulled back, and it's going to fly forward once we get out of this thing. So be ready for that. build the relations, take advantage of the time. Don't just watch, Tiger King on Netflix and just dork out, on Game of Thrones or Call of Duty or whatever else. Get out there, read some books, get Mentor Box and, start listening to some books or reading the books, get audible.com and listen to them, have some intelligent conversations with people, just grow as much as you can right now, because you will be the victor at the end of this if you don't just sit back on your haunches and let this thing beat you down. Like yesterday, I was in a dark place, man. I went dark on myself just with a lot of stuff that was happening, and for whatever reason, it just affected me. My girlfriend's like, "What's wrong with you today?" I'm like, "Just having a rough one, man." Like, I'm processing all this stuff. And so if you're having a rough day, that's okay. Don't stay there though. Will yourself up, will yourself to move forward. He and she who does not stop does not fail. So just consistently, persistently, see that, consistent and persistent, make the calls, do the videos, get out and, talk to other people, encourage them to get on a Zoom, build a relationship, talk to other local business owners, go to Groupon.com and call up all the local businesses that are on Groupon and say, "Hey man, how's your business? How can I help? How can I help give you some exposure? Are there any offers that I can offer out to my database when you put out, local videos, through viral or whatever other medium you're going to put out?" There's just, take those. And if you don't have that, guys, you don't want to get on video, get those things on the back of your flyers and you put them in the sign box, so that every time someone goes to the sign box, the backside of your flyers got all these local, discounts for local businesses that are having a hard time staying afloat right now. I mean, there's so many ways to be relevant. Just pick one and don't stop. I guess that's what it is.
Thank you. And I would like to wrap, but I really want to add one thing to what you said. And our president, Curtis Fenn, has taught me some of the things he's helped his kids learn as far as staying positive. And I think it's just some great child psychology that you don't know, you just scratch the surface on, is that when your energy is high and it's focused inward, you're anxious. When your energy is high and it's focused outward, it's excitement. When energy is low and focused inward, it's depression. And the way to transform what you just said is always putting your attention on others. Every single time, if you want to feel better about your life and your circumstances, find acts of service seems to be the recurring theme that can help you break out of whatever negative state you're in. And so that's a recurring theme across this entire series of podcasts, is if you can find ways to be in acts of service, that it might be the one thing that, when it all said and done, has saved people's careers and possibly people's lives. And so I want to thank you for taking the time today to share the inside of your head, the inside of your business, the inside of your home, and let the other agents who are watching this know what's coming up next week. We've got a great lineup coming up on Monday with Alex Haight, Saul Lerner, and our other famous friend, Racer Botkin. Really looking forward to having him tell his story. God, Racer's a great guy. If you haven't met him yet, please tune into that one. If you don't catch into the other ones, his story, his approach and view on life is so fantastic. He's a joy to listen to, just like you as well, Greg. And so,
thanks, man.
For everybody watching, if you're not on the list, please go to theredx.com/blog. Wait for the pop-up to get the notifications, so when we do another live show, which are happening every single day, you don't miss out. And for everybody who's still waiting for the script packet that we're putting together, again, continue to hold tight. We've got so many things going on, but every single one of these episodes, there's the team behind the scenes, capturing the scripts, capturing the bullet points, capturing all the major quotes, everything that you want. We're going to be putting that together and putting it out soon. And to get it, you must be on that email list. And so like us where you watch us, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, look up Greg McDaniels as well. We're going to send out an email with links on how you can stay in touch and contact with him. So please do that if you have any questions. And for Phil and for Amanda and for Garrison and for Sunny Isles Beach, California, everybody else who chatted in and spent time with us today, thank you so much for participating. We really love having everybody on board as we build a community of active agents to stay positive and productive during these challenging times. I'm Justin Zimmerman. See you on Monday, same time. Peace.